Why do we fall out of the flow and lose our rhythm? All right, that is the question today for number 99 on the list of the 144 fractal faculties of the Tree of Life. If you'd like to get just a little bit of a boost on your Tree of Life understanding, just watch my video called Tree of Life, a short introduction, or Tree of Life, an introduction. And that'll just refresh your memory about some of the basics, and so that you'll be able to follow along with all the videos, all 144 of these videos as I roll them out one at a time. And you can also get a complete listing of all 144 fractal faculties, of just an abstract of each one. If you click the link in the description, I'll send that out to you for free. And it's a good, especially for like the first half of the fractals. It's a solid kind of tutorial to be able to kind of see them all at once and be able to compare and contrast different spheres, to be able to really figure out what each one of the spheres is about, and how it's used, and how the tree is used in general. I'll be coming up with a second edition of that at some point in the future, but right now there are some flaws with that listing, but most of them are in the last 48 of the fractals, which is where we're just getting started with right now, getting toward the end of the list with number 99. And here's your Tree of Life. You can see, or you can remember, that this is a map of our consciousness, among other things. And each one of the circles or spheres here represents one of our faculties of consciousness. So there's a total of 12 of these, which includes the abyss and the 0 above the tree, and then the numbers 1 through 10. And each one is a different faculty or potentiality or capability of our consciousness. And we start with this already open, and this pretty much opens as we are in the first 5 years of our life, and then the rest of them we gradually can open as we get the opportunity as we move along through life. Most of us, don't really open. Some of us never open any of them. And some of us only open these two. Many of us only open these two. And then there's a few more that just open these three. The spiritual search really starts beginning once you start trying to open the seventh. I mean, everybody kind of has them open for fleeting moments, but to kind of get them open consistently and to be able to operate on those levels consistently requires, a spiritual approach, some kind of system, some kind of procedure, usually. Now, today we are talking about number 99, and so number 99 is located right here in the third sphere. And the third sphere corresponds one of our divine faculties, the three divine faculties: omnipotence, omniscience, omnipresence. Okay, all powerful, omnipotence. So this is our all powerful faculty. And we open up that all powerful faculty using sound synchronization techniques, particularly mantra. That's probably the best known, but there are other ways of doing it too. But each one of the letters of the alphabet more or less corresponds, or many of the letters of the alphabet correspond to different aspects of our consciousness. And so, for example, this is the fourth sphere. The fourth sphere corresponds to the letter complex SHR, or Shri. So Shri is, then you have to put the NG at the end of it, Shring. And that is a letter complex that creates some kind of vibratory presence that allows you to kind of really tap into this fourth sphere. Here at the sixth sphere, it's HRING, hurring. That is what kind of puts you at the wavelength or on the vibe of that particular sphere. So you can use the third sphere to activate these as you are on your spiritual path. And we really get on the path here at the seventh sphere, when we at the top of the seventh sphere, where we really declare our secret mission, or our mission in life, our higher calling. And at the third sphere, we're able to fulfill that higher calling by utilizing these mantra to open up these spheres as needed, and to be able to embody those different qualities at particular times in our life or particular circumstances. And so that is kind of how the third sphere works. And the third sphere is one of our 12 different faculties. Now, to get from 12 faculties to 144 fractal faculties, what we're really doing is we're taking the tree of life to the second power. We're so-called squaring the tree of life. And the way we do that is we take the whole tree, we shrink it down, and we apply it to each of the 12 spheres. So we put a tree on the 10th sphere, then we put a tree on the 9th sphere, we put a tree on the 8th sphere. So we're dividing the 10th sphere up into 12 parts. We're dividing the 9th sphere up into 12 parts. We're dividing the 8th sphere up into 12 parts. And so on, for a total of 144. 12 times 12 is 144. And when we do that with the third sphere, when we put the whole tree on the third sphere, then we have, a mini 10th sphere inside the third sphere, a mini 9th sphere inside the third sphere, and a mini 8th sphere inside the third sphere, and so on. This mini 8th sphere inside the third sphere is what is number 99. So the 8th sphere, if you recall, corresponds to really the consensus worldview. This is what you get once you leave the home, leave the domestic space, and you move out into the real world. You start going to school, you start going to church, you start going to the mall, going out in public. Once you're, over 5 years old, maybe over 7 years old, and you start encountering the expert opinion and the conventional wisdom and all of these sanctioned opinions and belief systems that are given to you by the institutions, the powers that be, and so on. So this is really, the consensus worldview. This is what people are taught to think that we're supposed to think about the world. And more kind of generally, the 8th sphere corresponds to our left brain thinking capacity on the lowest level. So meaning on the concrete level. This takes things and breaks them apart into categories. But the categories are based on their concrete, superficial characteristics. And so that is also present here at the 8th sphere. Our rational thinking process, our belief systems, and opinions that we acquire, these are all part of the 8th sphere. Also within the 8th sphere is the trickster, where the powers that be will tell you things, but they they're not always necessarily true. You can be tricked. They can give you inverted information, perverted information, misinformation. They can uh, feed you all kinds of different sanctioned things to get you to manipulate you. So this is also part of the asphere. So we're kind of imagining that within this greater third sphere of the omnipotence and the sound synchronization. And that is all rolled up into number 99, snuffed out through awestrike. And stage number 99 is about being overwhelmed by the power of synchronization, which causes us to fall out of sync, a short circuit. After a lot of work, we suddenly slide into the zone. Here we are. We experience possession by a higher power. This is after being able to use the sound power successfully and being able to find ourselves into these various spheres that we chant our way into. But soon, after this possession by the higher power, we are soon dumbstruck. We have reached an exalted state of consciousness, but it is unfamiliar and awe-inspiring. The novelty, the wow factor, moves us right out of this state that we work so hard to get into, to cultivate, and sends us back down. The beautiful strangeness has us overwhelmed, which triggers our inner control freak to reorient ourselves, to talk to ourselves for reassurance about where we are. We cannot just live the experience. We feel compelled to assert control. Cast out of the zone, causing us to lose connection, to lose possession. We can't intentionally replicate the experience, but sometimes we do anyway, by accident. So we can find ourselves in that state by accident, but too often we can't take the awe-inspiring nature of it, and we end up orienting ourselves by talking to ourselves, and then we fall out of that state. We have learned synchronization, sound deployed over matter, cymatics. Sounds and frequencies create geometric shapes in a liquid medium, and we are mostly water. We entrain the higher powers by invoking geometrical shapes. Each is a specific state of consciousness. We're tapping a source that is too awesome to sustain for long with our current level of training. We can't stay long as we are in over our head for now. Still just passing through the bliss, through the zone, not a full possession, but just a visitation. We've learned how to be tuned in tune, in sync, in the zone, but we've not learned how to handle success once we get it. The success, the visitation, is surprising, short, and only transient. We pass through the zone without stopping. No shock absorbers to damp the amplitude. When we grasp onto, or when we indulge bliss, the possession, we lose focus, and that shuts it off. The bliss is too much, too awesome. We automatically panicked. We got too excited over the high amplitude, the high volume. Even in the moment, we reverted to spectating, to speculating about other moments. We let our mind wander until we're out of the now and out of the flow. Bent out of shape and shorted out. Keep working though, because the more we repeat, the more accustomed we become. and we eventually will learn to sustain as the awe subsides. Okay, that's number 99, the eighth fractal of the third sphere. That's another thing about the eighth sphere. It's on the same side as the third sphere. Over here, this is the talking side. This is the visual side. So here, we have a tendency to orient ourselves. Anytime we're in a situation, we're always like trying to tell ourselves, this is where we are. This is what we're doing. This is, we have to kind of orient ourselves to the situation. But in the case of chanting mantra, we have to be able to silence that in our mind to be able to go deeper into it. We can't constantly be telling ourselves, this is where we are, this is where we are. We have to just be there and not talk about it in our mind in order to go deeper. And so by summoning this eighth sphere thing, it battles against the chanting, because we can put ourselves in that state, but we have to continue the chant in order to go deeper and deeper and deeper. But when our mind is still turned on and we're keep telling ourselves where we are, it fights against that whole purpose. So we have to be able to subdue this eighth sphere orientating or orientation mechanism in order to really dig deep into the mantra. Okay, we'll have more to say about that as we go along, but that is number 99 as it stands. Stay tuned for tomorrow as we will rock out with number 100 on the list. Again, if you'd like to get a free list of the all 144, just in abstract form, just send me or click the link in the description, and I will send that to you for free. If you have money and like to donate to the project, just my Cash App link is in there, and my Venmo too. Try to go with the Cash App if possible. And otherwise, stay tuned for future videos on this channel, coming out at least once per day, and hopefully more as we roll along. And besides that, I appreciate you sticking around to the end of the video, and have a great day. We'll see you soon.